started.
Let's get
definitely
started.
get you loose.
All right. We're going back to the roots here of Raynman Power Hour. We used to talk about comics a lot. We didn't kind of ventured into movies a lot because they kind of took over the field. But we're going to go back to the comics today, and we're going to cover a couple of topics.
Yes, and really, and we kind of talked about this during the history of comics, and it's actually a serious discussion, but we're talking about the state of comics today.
And it starts out with a very simple question, one that Frank came up with, but it's very, very relevant. How many people out there read comics? I'm not talking about collect comics.
Read them.
I do
Read 'em.
both.
Okay, so is it new, old, both?
It's a mixture of old
I
material.
keep up with the new, but I have a lot of respect for the old.
Now why?
What's that?
Why do you have respect for the old?
Because everything started with the old. If it wasn't for what we had back in the day, we wouldn't have what we have now.
Let me tell you something. There was an FF issue with the Thing had a Beatles haircut.
Okay.
All right?
I don't have respect for that.
I did not respect that damn book.
I'm
I know what
talking
you're
about
saying.
what came out in the golden age and the silver age, because a lot of what we have now, if what didn't come out back then, we wouldn't have what we do now.
How many people in the room right now feel that the most influential age of comics is the Bronze Age at this moment? Would everybody agree that that's the most?
Ooh, that's an age question.
Well, that's just because that's when Marvel came. Oh, when Marvel really started to kick it into high gear. But I still think
Silver Age.
the
Silver Age
Silver
still
Age.
more
For
important?
everything.
Matt Silver Age?
I think Silver Age.
I see a golden age guy back there. Ah, there's a golden. That's almost a trick question, but I want to ask. Besides the lovely young lady in the back, who's extremely young.
And my niece will watch it.
Oh, wait.
Oh, I'm glad you clarified that.
My God,
She's trying to act like she's not here.
I was just already say something decent,
And
right?
no. That's my proper niece, not the old man.
Wait a minute.
That's
This
my
is not
niece.
somebody you just picked up again that you just hide by and go, oh, "This is my niece." Really, your niece?
What's your niece's name?
Emily.
Okay,
Emily.
how
I
old
thought I
are
heard the
you?
name Emily yesterday. I thought.
22. How old are you, sir?
I'm 31.
What?
Yeah.
Good God. Okay, I'm not going to ask
With that
anything
hair,
to say.
screw you.
We touched this upon the history of
I know,
comics.
I'm extremely lucky.
I would say the average age here, and I'll forgive the fact that we have a very young person and an older gentleman there, would probably be late 30s, around 40.
The average age, yes.
36.
Which kind of goes back to when we were talking about comics. The whole kids thing is kind of out the door. I really kind of hate to bust the bubble. Comics aren't for kids anymore. The purchasing power, the story content, and the fact of what we talked about before, that kids got so many other things to do now. And the attention span is so short where everything media-wise is on a phone. It's a lookup. It's a video game. It's a DVD. It's music. Everything is instantaneous now. Who wants to read a comic book if you're a kid? You actually have to read an entire issue that may not be finished in that issue. Why would you do it? I don't know. It's probably down the list. And the fact that it costs so much. Who wants to pay $4 for a comic that Bill said you read one time, put it away. There's not a whole lot of time invested in it, and it depends on how fast you read.
About
Who
8
wants-
minutes. About 8 minutes on the average comic does.
If they actually read it, they may skim through it.
When I was younger, I did skim, and now I read it now more.
Uh-huh.
Found out with a lot more information that way.
But I think kids are still prone towards comics. I'll tell you a little story about what happened yesterday. So my son Trevor, who's 13 years old, came to the con with me, and he found a trade paperback, The Greatest Superboy Team-Up Stories Ever Told.
Which I didn't even know this trade existed. I'm already interested.
You should be.
I'm interested in that myself.
And he's reading these stories. Of course, it's a collection of stories from the 50s, 60s, 70s, all about, Golden Age, or Silver Age Superboy stuff. And he comes upstairs after having read the very first reprint, and it's a story about how Superman met Jimmy Olsen's dad. And he's going on and on about, well, then this happened in the story, and this happened in the story, and this happened in the story. And I tell you what, the potential is still there. The problem is getting comics into the hands of kids, and I think it's where
But I'm
you're
gonna play
at.
devil's advocate. Play devil's advocate though. If you were not his dad,
But
it was dad that just worked in a factory, didn't have a.
Yeah,
would
he's
he
a
be prone to
second
that?
generation
Because,
comic
sir,
reader.
that is something I could see. I mean, not saying that you want to influence him, but you love comics, ergo he sees that.
Right. I think the majority, I'll go as far as 80% of young comic book readers are second or third generation readers. Because I have a second generation reader. I have a third generation reader. I have a granddaughter that loves comics.
I'm technically second generation. My dad was big into them, and that's what got me big into them. My very first Halloween costume was Spider-Man at 3, and that's largely influenced from my dad.
What got you in comics, Matt? Are you a first generation reader?
I think I am. My father says he remembers funny books, but I don't think he ever collected them.
And nobody read before you.
I'm sorry, that statement just still just makes me laugh when I hear
That's why I
that.
doubt he had any.
Why don't they call them funny books?
All right, now,
Wait a minute.
I wouldn't necessarily say I'm an avid comic reader. However, I've had a decent amount of exposure to comic-related properties. I'm primarily a video game guy, so I've played my fair share of comic-related video games. It's
You're in the wrong con.
Exactly, I know. But I've watched my fair share of animated features of Marvel and DC properties. I watched a lot of 90s Spider-Man. I was big into the animated series.
that series is huge.
Right, I am
DC
ecstatic that they're
cartoons were
adapting
better.
The Killing Joke, which I actually did pick up.
Very good.
I found myself getting into the Fable series thanks to The Wolf Among Us.
No, very good. Very good.
Yes,
very
very
different.
much so. And it is very well written, and if anybody wants to get into that, The Wolf Among Us is considered to be a prequel to Fables, and I really need to get back into that. But I would say my comic experience is ancillary. I kind of find myself to be the weird guy in the
We
room.
can't help it because it's everywhere. The culture's everywhere.
It is,
The
it
culture's
really is.
everywhere.
What's ancillary? Tell me, Frank.
It's peripheral,
Okay. What's peripheral?
not direct.
Okay.
When I'm gonna go to two extremes now, sir. I'm gonna pick on you. How about you?
You're getting picked on.
First, were you the first one to read comics? Your parents didn't read comics.
No, parents didn't follow.
Because and you know what? Also, too, I could see that because back in those days, I mean, you didn't have the white cast.
Are you saying his parents didn't have trees?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Or is that what you're saying?
No,
Parents
it's
had
just
depression.
right, exactly. And you're right. Your priorities were different. Your priorities were different. Exactly. And
You sat there and
until she
watched
took off, I was
water all
gonna
day
ask her
like
a question.
Because we all had to be more serious.
Let's
But
get
what got you? But wait, what got you into comics?
Well, yeah, well, like Superman on TV.
Superman on TV?
Back
Which
then.
series?
George
George
Lucas.
Reed.
You just said you
Oh
said
my
you read black and
goodness
white.
gracious!
I've
First
seen
TV.
those.
First TV.
Those are, in the Dayton area at least, they run those a lot on MeTV, and I still
Right.
watch it from time to time. And they're still, sometimes you watch them because they're so damn funny, and they're not meant to be funny, but sometimes they're still kind of cool. I mean,
And sometimes they are extremely frustrating because you're like, oh, you wouldn't do that today.
Yeah, really.
But of course, that was back then. So
Now let's get the hands back in the air. People that are reading and collecting comics, what makes you a collector? Is it the characters or the creators?
since I'm ADHD, I read them for a
Look,
completely
a
different
squirrel.
world.
Just kidding.
But since I'm ADHD, I read comic books and it's completely different for me. When I read these, I'm actually in that world. I read comic books like I am watching television. So every time I read the story, I actually see Spider-Man swinging through the city. I see Superman flying. So I read it because it just takes me into a completely different
But
world.
why do you pick up a Spider-Man or a Superman book? Because you like that character, or do you
So
like the
character, you're character driven.
First, it was character driven. That's why I have over 500 Spider-Mans.
All right.
But since I recently realized there's more heroes, so I'm reading them now and I'm enjoying a lot of the storylines. There are some where I go, really? And then there are some where I go, wow. It may have just been this one comic, but that was a really good story.
How many people here read based on character?
I used to, but
I
not
did.
everything.
I'm an X.
For
What
me,
character, Art?
Bizarro.
Bizarro.
Bizarro has always tore me up.
You am reading comics.
Yes, because it's like,
He's like the Grimlock of Superman.
yeah, well, what it is it's like mirror personalities. One's supposed to be smart, and the other one's dumber than dirt.
Right?
One's supposed to be handsome.
That's me and Bill. One of us is smart.
You get to figure out which one
One's
was
supposed to be handsome, and the other one has got this
Frank
gritty
Zorro.
look. Gritty,
Are you watching Supergirl on TV?
That is a good
No.
show.
It is a good series.
It
They
is a
did
good
a
show.
very good version of Bizarro with Supergirl, which is really, really cool.
And they just
you like-
crossed over Flash and introduced the properties of New World.
I'm going to go after the non-talkers, Ted.
Or creator,
Creator or character?
Character.
or well, depends what character. Like Devil Dinosaur, if he has a book, I'll read it. But mostly creators.
And those creators, I know you're
So
John.
you like Devil Dinosaur?
Yeah, like Dan Slott.
You like Dan
Mike
Slott?
Oliver.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Ted's in the house.
I still like you. I still like you, Ted.
Little Richard.
You don't like Dan Slott?
You go both ways.
John
Bow.
Burke, he doesn't like Dan Slott.
Ladies and
I'm
gentlemen.
more of a
He belongs to a different
All
continent.
right, now that you're back in here.
I am
Wait,
a creator
wait.
person.
Wait, hold on. Yes, you.
Who?
You read comics, obviously.
A handful.
A handful. Did your parents read comics?
No.
Do you like Do you like characters? Do you like creators or artists?
Writers, creators.
So you're asking more about.
Do you like the characters better, or do you like it because you like someone who writes it better or draws it better?
I'd have to go with writer, creator.
Oh.
Very well. See,
I-
Captain America became my favorite character because of the creators tied to that title. You had Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, John Byrne, Roger Stern.
Okay, your projector's possessed.
That's all right. That's fine. But that's kind of cool. I like it that way.
That's our late warning that we're gonna be out of time soon. I will be the first to admit I have had every issue of the Hulk.
He likes
Okay.
the whole.
And I can tell you that I don't understand how he existed. I think from the first until Peter David took over, John Byrne, Peter David, I can think that more than 70% of it was kind of crap. But let's understand something about comics is the fact that Bill was talking about the Bronze Age being influential. There was so much stuff.
I wasn't
These
thinking when it was. I did right there.
these people with their deadlines, do you know how many books in the 70s and 80s, what it takes to sit there and draw a comic once a month, twice a month, and all these characters that came out that may seem foolishness, they would never come out now. There's no capacity for it. And it also wouldn't be a moneymaker. So, as I'm sitting there and I rationalize that, I say, if Hulk fights Tuna Man, that's not a villain, by the way.
123.
Are you sure?
But
I've seen
Hulk
some
fights
Mariner.
Tuna Man. It's probably because you've got a deadline. If they're putting out 1 or 2 books a month, could I do better? Because I'll tell you this right now, I can't do the big story arc with a couple of books a month. It's foolhardy. So in a way, I can forgive him because not only, okay, yes, it was a different time, but my God, I'd probably put some stock stuff in there too.
I agree with you that it would be hard to come out nowadays because the MC2 universe, the 2099 universe, and ultimately the Ultimate universe, which is now ending, are all really good stories because I've collected a lot of them. Oh, I have a lot. I have most of the MC2. I have a lot of 2099s, but I didn't read Unlimited. But I thought it was really good, but nobody was accepting that. That's why I understand where you're saying you couldn't come out with that today.
But it goes
Because even
with
these new worlds weren't accepted.
even the deadline stuff that Frank's mentioned, back when he was reading comics religiously more, and I was as well, deadlines meant something. We need a Tuna Man issue to fill in this gap because we're supposed to have a book every month.
I want to see this Tuna Man.
Now there is no deadline priority. Here's issue 1. If you're lucky, you might get issue 2 in 4 months.
Right.
Deadlines no longer exist because I think editing has taken a real big hit. Anybody in here collect comics just for investment purposes only? They go around picking up key issues. This is going to be worth money. Nobody. Thank you. That's awesome.
Only if you get lucky and find one, like you go into the daggone back of Goodwill and
Well,
and
of course.
Oh, so you stumbled upon it.
comic books
Hey,
there.
true
You know how much
Wait,
nobody else does.
there.
Yeah.
You gotta
And then
buy.
There's Giant X-Men #1.
Wait, true story. Chancellor here.
75.
Chancellor Jones here one time went through a stack of quarter boxes.
In
finds a
Buffalo.
Hulk 181.
In Buffalo, New York.
So he's like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Looks around, puts in the middle of the stack, goes up there.
I've done that.
Do. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is right. And then of course Bill's like, well, what do you mean? It's in the quarter box. And meanwhile, his fingers are crossed like this behind his back.
I offered to pay the guy $30.
That's what dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
You should
Dead
never
giveaway.
bring
I've never been
character.
I'll give you $30 now if you just let me have it, sir.
Now, I'll tell you, there are some that I do like buying a comic book for, like, let's say I know that the comic book is worth $20, $30, and I buy it for $5. I go, oh, yes, I got a $30 comic book for
that's
$5.
just a
But I'm not
very
going to
good
sell
point,
it.
though.
I just love getting great
Wait,
bargains.
good
I get
point,
a
though.
$20 comic book for $2. I'm like,
Wait, good
oh,
point,
yes.
though. A book that is worth $20, if everyone has one, it's not worth $20, guys.
I know the difference between
the whole
everybody
group of
having it and
customers.
just some
I know,
people having it.
And a dealer will tell you, your good dealers will tell you, how much is a comic worth? It's worth what someone will pay for it. Yes, sir.
I want to interject with the app-based comic sales. I mean,
We're gonna get to
Comixology
that.
out here is a scourge for collectors, I'm sure.
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
What do you
I'll
mean?
let-
What do you mean that it's a screw?
How far is that down,
Think
Bill?
about
Can
it.
we get to
No,
that now?
You can open your tablet, you can
Okay.
open your smartphone, you can read, you can buy the issue.
It trends.
exact
It also
same-
goes trend. It also trends.
Anybody in here? Well, another thing is, I like to say I've never bought a key issue in my entire life. I've been fortunate to buy good books that 20 years later became important, which is really cool. I like doing it that way. Anybody buy it just for nostalgic reasons? I had this book when I was 9. I want to buy it again.
I just did.
Yesterday I bought a Superman from 1973 just so I could say I have a Superman from 1973. So kind of nostalgic, but I like going up and saying, this comic book is older than me. I love buying comic books that are older than me.
I remember reading this comic book at the laundromat when I was getting divorced. This is an awesome book.
Bill and I brought this up. I know what Matt's answer is going to be. I'm going to ask Ted first. I'm going to ask everyone. Does it make a difference if it's softer trade back, or if it's single issues? Do you guys have a preference? Ted, do you
If
have
it's
a preference?
Marvel or DC, I want the single issues.
You like
If
single-
it's
Matt, like, you
indie,
like
I
single
want
issues.
single issues.
I love single issues, but if I'm having trouble finding it, I will read them in trade paperback.
yes.
But I want the single issues.
Now Bill and I we want to see different because when I got rid of my collection last
Because I'm
time,
calling you.
I was just like, okay, trade it up, and Bill like, no. So we've actually softened. I'm actually starting to buy some soft issues again, especially stuff that's not in trades. And Bill's actually learned the value of trades.
Right.
So we've had like a married couple. We've had a happy compromise with that.
Now, I bought some Exiles. I bought them in trade because I was having trouble finding complete sets. But if I could find those complete sets, I'd still buy them even though I had them in trade. Because I like having
So
single
even
issues.
back issues, you guys would want soft issues. I mean, if it wasn't like a key outrageously priced issue.
I was just filling up a comic book box and left it there so I could come watch the panel.
Is there a Devil Dinosaur trade?
Yes, there is.
There is?
I don't own it.
Of the
It's an
Kirby
omnibus.
stuff.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I may
It came
have
out a while
to
ago.
get
It
that.
might be out of print, but I didn't buy it.
Did you buy
See,
it?
that's when I
Ted, here's the question. Do you have the Godzilla Devil Dinosaur crossover?
Yeah.
Good man.
See, that's when you
Man.
get trades when you can't afford to buy
You
a
didn't know
comic book
that?
from the 60s. You get it in trade paperback.
Exactly. And then,
Discount trades.
Yeah.
does the price of new comics merit what you pay for? Do you think this is the weakest era of comics as far as quality per book?
I hate the price of comic books. I'll wait a year and buy them at a con for $1 a piece.
When you guys
Or
go
you
out and
buy
shell,
the
the guys that are still reading
later
the
on.
books weekly,
'Cause that's a better
monthly,
value.
and you shell out $4 a pop, do you feel you get your $4 worth? Ted, no.
Sometimes.
I would say
Usually
it's kind
alone,
of
I buy 'em
the quality and
at
the
DCS
quality of
service.
writing.
So even the
Still
discount-
want to have had a good
I wouldn't
$4
pay full
worth.
price.
You wouldn't pay full price if you didn't have your discount. Matt, do you feel you get your money's worth when you're buying new comics?
It depends. I mean, I feel like I could give Jason Aaron my money and he would always give me
Jason
my money's
Aaron.
worth.
So creator-driven,
Creator
collective.
driven, but
I can piggyback on that creator driven. It really depends on the quality of the art and the quality of the writing.
yeah, I
Wait,
think
wait.
some of it I think is justified, but you know I'm really leery about DC going to this bi-weekly schedule because
Because they maintain it. And how the
I don't
quality
think
goes
the
down.
quality is just
No.
going to tank around issue 15.
The gentleman right there is saying something.
What's that?
What's your name, sir?
Bowers, Norm Bowers.
Norm? What would you like to say?
Well,
Norm!
It's quality of the story, quality of the writers, and what's the person, like you said before, what's comic worth?
Yes.
What he perceives to be best. If he likes it, some people may not like it.
Yes.
If you
Well,
like it, then you.
For the most part, I don't think they're worth the price.
Matt brought up a good point. This almost mirrors sports, especially when you look at baseball pitching. The schedule from the 70s was so much more harder and driven than it is now. That you're right. You don't have the faith that they go was it bi-monthly? Is that twice a month? If they go bi-monthly, does the quality,
Usually.
I did bring this up with Bill before, but I'm gonna ask this now. On the occasion that they do an advertisement for a $1 comic, you know how they occasionally do that with a book. I don't know if people think about this, but do you think the quality of the comic's just as good as what's out there, or do you think it's kind of not as good?
I think that would depend on who's doing the comic.
I think it is creator-driven again.
Like
No.
if Stan Lee put out a $1 comic book, I think it would actually be pretty good, and I'd be interested in that. But if Rob Liefeld put out a $1 comic book,
Poor guy.
I think everybody would be so over muscular and huge pelvises would just
Hey,
take me right out of the
Stan Lee and
storyline.
Rob
Don't forget
Liefeld
the
both.
boobs and butt pose.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I gotta tell you though,
I don't think it would be so great.
Your national creators downstairs, we just had this debate, and Tony
Don't wait.
Isabella, and Bob Hall, Tony Isabella, and you know what's funny is, I keep saying it's Liefeld, right?
Canceling last year.
It's Liefeld or
See,
Liefeld?
see,
Liefeld?
like I said,
Liefeld gets ridiculed a lot, but you know what? A lot of the creators have respect for him because he's a nice
Especially
guy to
over
them. But they say because Image
right.
made an impact.
It really depends
Image
on the
made an
writing
impact.
franchise.
And Bob Hall said, and I never thought he'd say this involving Rob Liefeld, he said, I looked at his stories, and it was a throwback to the older days of what I enjoyed. And I sat there for a minute, and I'm going, wait a minute now, this is not what
That
I...
was Joe Stanton, wasn't it?
Was it Joe Stanton? It was one of them.
Well, what was it called? Joe Hall or Bob Stanton?
But the thing is, as far as and let me tell you something, I've done my fair share of ridiculing Rob Liefeld. You could look at you could look at our roast for Champion City for that. Right?
Really?
Which is on
Criticized him?
Underground, which is on Underground Video Network. If you want to catch the Underground Video roast that we do, which are very good, we did Mark Wade,
Jesse Noble.
Oh, but you can't criticize Mark Wade.
What's that?
Oh, we did.
I'm sorry. I just had to say that real quick.
Hey, I'm going to say something
I
about
like
Mark Wade. Mark Wade did something that no other established creator did. He came to our Champion City Con,
In Springfield.
didn't ask for anything. Small con. He let us roast him. He was there. He was the best. No one else in this
wanted to have
actually
fun.
did it. That's my Mark Wade plug. All right, Mark, go Mark.
Well, Mark comes here every year because he doesn't have anything else to do.
Oh my
But
God.
I'm a sucker for.
He's signed like 20 or 30 of my comics already.
I'm such a creator-driven collector that when a creator comes back to a title, Lynn Line doing Swamp Thing right now,
Yes.
Frank Miller on Batman, Jim Starlin on Thanos, I go back to those books no matter how many times I retire from collecting comics.
But also on that note, he won't pick up a Bendis book if you torture his wife.
Why?
Because Bendis is.
Don't get him go. Oh my God, we don't have enough time.
Okay, just to paraphrase it, why don't you like him?
Talking heads, no talent, stupid stories. Anything else?
I will say in Bill's defense, maybe you guys don't know this, but Bendis, when you read Bendis' Avengers, they all talk the same wise ass cracking. It's like everyone thinks the same way, and I'm like, well, I'm reading the same character basically.
I owe Bendis a favor because if it wasn't for all the crap that he wrote and I stupidly bought and I end up selling, I would have never been able to produce my own 42 comics.
There you
There we
go.
go. So, well,
Well, go down the list.
Come on, you love to see superheroes
Okay.
cracking wise.
when do you stop collecting comics, or do you ever?
Outside of an emergency or financial situation.
If a creator leaves, do you dock the book? Yes.
No, I've only stopped collecting regularly because of the price. I'll just wait till the con when they're cheaper and then just get it then.
Little Richard?
Creators?
I didn't drop Daredevil after Mark Wade left. So.
You didn't?
Charles Soule, he's ready to go right.
Did you give him a chance though?
Yeah, I'm giving it a chance, yeah.
Okay.
Because I dropped Daredevil before when Brubaker
when
took
Bendis
over.
took over.
I think that's like one of the
Brubaker's
greatest
weak.
ones ever, so I said I'll give it a chance from now on.
No, Richard?
I didn't have money now and I'm still buying, so I don't stop.
Little Richard would sell his nephew for a comic book. For the love of
Because I
God.
even jump back on Marvel. And I've
Well,
done
with a wife and a kid at home, I've got to watch what I do with money. So.
As much as I hate to say that Bill Gladman can be right on some things, I think even creator-driven, Peter David's Hulk is incredible. But as long
I
as
see what you did there.
As long as he did it,
Yeah.
it is incredible. As long as he did it, even towards the end, it started to get
Just
a
like
little-
Claremont Sex?
a little wacky. When you do it for so long, anything, it gets, you start, I don't know, losing focus. I don't know what the proper term is, but something changes. And
Goes off
you know
the rails.
what? And that's where change is good, But I really do believe this, and I know the couple of people that went to the history thing, I really do believe this. I really think part of the
make him
problem
mad?
with comics, huh?
Did you make him mad?
He was mad at you, Bill. For Bendis, remember? But the thing about it is this. I really do think up to a certain point, I think the think tank has gone dry with comics. I think when these characters have been around for so long, what else do you do with them? Really,
That's why Dr. Octopus took over Spider-Man's body, because they needed to do something different.
Right. But we're talking about the Hulk. Okay, I want a Hulk with boobs. You got She-Hulk. Okay, what else? Red Hulk.
Well, they did something
else?
new with the Hulk with Axis. They had released the Hulk inside of the Hulk, and he almost bit off Nova's arm.
Right.
That was actually kind of
That
cool.
book make you have a headache? The Hulk stuff? If you're reading that?
No, I'm not reading it.
Not reading it?
But at some
Yeah,
point, what else do you do to the character? I don't know. But it seemed like it hit DC first. Superman was one of the best. What else can you do with Superman?
Well, here recently, the past year, when they severely depowered him and they outed him as Clark Kent, that was honestly one of the things that's never really been done. And the writing was kind of janky. There were some character traits that I didn't really appreciate, but it was a new, fresh story.
I liked it when he went electricity. That was pretty cool.
You like
blue and red? The blue and red?
No, when he went completely electricity. When he went
okay,
to
I got you.
regular non-powered Clark Kent to completely Superman. I was actually collecting those comic books at the time because I thought it was a really interesting change and a new way of looking at Superman. Non-power Clark Kent, completely electricity.
Do you guys think with Wolverine and FF being taken off the comic market because of the movie fiascos, do you think this means that we could kill a major character and leave him dead?
No.
Wolverine's going to come back eventually. I just don't know how they're going to do it.
Right now, but everyone's surviving without Wolverine.
I thought the Wolverine movie was decent.
Right, but the thing is, it's not because of the movie. It's not because of that art. It's
Because he owns it.
They want the rights back.
Right, they want the rights
I
back.
know.
Yeah, so they didn't know how to do anymore. How about if you're a comic book collector? Frank and I have done a lot of this recently. Who is reading more and more of your back issued collection, probably for the first time in the proper order? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is there problems with that, or I mean, you can run into
Continuity issues.
well, continuity.
Yeah, I've been finding a lot of continuity issues. I'm looking at a guy going, well, wait a minute, he just said that he never did this, but 5 years ago, he totally destroyed the building.
But at
He
least
said
you
he would
know,
never do something like
by
that.
reading like that, at least you know there is a problem, and it's an editorial problem. But there's some people that like the old art versus the new art, not personal art.
I just kind of wish they had a continuity person in the room saying, hey, Superman can't go through that window. Why? Because Superman's afraid of windows. But then
I don't
5
believe
years
that.
later, Superman's flying through windows and nobody explains why
I
he's
don't
not afraid
believe
of
that
it.
at all. I don't think he's afraid of windows.
I was paraphrasing.
I'm sorry.
There needs to be a continuity.
Fuck Tuna Man.
There needs to be a continuity editor in the rooms, so we're not saying, well, Spider-Man's somehow doing this when Spider-Man said he would never do this.
See,
What
I don't
about
think
the-
there needs to be. I don't think there needs to be continuity in comics at all. I think we just need good stories that end.
Oh,
That's what DC
that's
doing.
interesting.
DC
That's
doesn't end anything. DC does not end anything.
Oh, well, I
They
bet
go
with the-
on
with the
and on
keep
and
rebooting
on and
everything.
on.
Just like that
Justice
damn song
League,
with Lamb
the
Chop.
new one with the Dark Side War thing.
Uh-huh.
Is it ever going to end? I mean, I've been reading it for over 8 issues.
That's my new picture for Richard. Is it ever going to end?
They all started with 52. You can blame Mark
So,
Waid.
But like
so-
the DC though, the same thing is like what he was saying. You have the Justice League, which is roughly in the same continuity as the rest of the new 52, but then you have the JLA, which is the core team, but is obviously not a part of the new 52 universe because Superman's still flying around in his normal suit.
Right.
Yeah.
So for you old ass collectors,
Oh, ass.
do you go back?
Hey, I'm not that old.
Do you guys go back and like, okay, Matt, you love JLA, right?
Oh, sure.
So when you get a good run of JLA going, do you go back and read it straight through?
Oh, yeah, I go back and read Jerry Conway stuff all the time.
Jerry Conway, George Perez rules.
There is a lot of times when I'll read something that doesn't sound right, and I'll go scouring my back issues and go, I knew he said he would never do this.
Huh?
I like Larry Hama's G.I. Joe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, I will say this: I've never did the
Did he do
undertaking
all
on
the-
it,
did
but
he
I'm
do all-
tempted.
Yeah. He's still doing it now. If I
Really?
on you, it's really good.
Anybody in this room have the complaint? I know I don't. I don't think Frank does either. The older stuff is too wordy versus the stuff nowadays that you only get 19 words per book.
I actually liked the old stuff because it explained things better. Now it's just like, okay, why did he punch this guy's teeth out? He just showed up, punched his teeth, and went away. I'd like to know why he's doing
Because
that.
he thought he was Tuna Man. That's why.
I want to read these Tuna Man comics. Stop teasing me.
He's Greek.
That's an old joke.
Now there are a couple of times. There are a couple of times when
Go back to the Raynman podcast for that joke, ladies and
Big
gentlemen.
Fan Podcast number 23.
There are some times in the old comic books where I think that they're overstating the obvious, but I think that may have just been a process of the times.
What
It was like, I need to lift this building to find a person that's trapped under it. No shit.
What was there?
Obviously.
Is there any times when you're reading some of the old material when you get to what Frank refers to as the what the fuck moment? WTF? What is going on here? This makes no sense. I mean, the werewolf.
Does
by
anybody
night-
have a WTF moment? Let me tell you mine. Kid you not.
Just
Does anybody not know Werewolf by Night?
Werewolf by Night? Jack Russell. Not the
Jack,
singer.
okay.
Not the singer.
Not
Great
by
White
Jack
at
Russell.
all.
Yes.
Yes.
So Werewolf by Night. I just got the omnibus,
Oh,
and I got to tell you, I told Bill, I was like, I'm surprised it came out. Blah 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 blah. Now, Bill is much more noble about defending the 70s books, but I got to tell you something. Where I really lost it was two things. The first one was, I'm paraphrasing, okay? Marvel Spotlight. It is. I'm going to use your name, Ted. Ted the Hunter. It's a guy with a shotgun, and a hunting cap. And the whole issue of it is he's actually holding himself on. He can do hand-to-hand combat with the werewolf. Now, I'm sitting there going, oh my God, that's just, somebody's not just, whatever. The second one, which is ingratiated in my brain, I can't get the image out, is of all the things, the werewolf comes across a beach. And there is a bunch of guys in swimming trunks dancing around a fire and
Welcome to
drinking.
Frankie Avalon.
So here's the thing, there's no women. Now, all right, that's an oversight, I get it, all right?
He's in Rio.
But they see a werewolf jump up on him, comes up on him, and the first thing I don't know what you guys would do, my big ass, I would waddle away. I would say I like to run, but I'd be waddling away. What do they do? Hey guys, let's get this guy. And they go after him, and the werewolf is being chased by a bunch of guys in nothing but swim trunks, and I'm sitting there going, there's gotta be a hidden meaning to this, because I don't understand how this is happening.
They're in Rio.
I called Bill the minute I read that. I told Bill, what is going on with this?
As soon as he called, I said, you just read the red on my meditation. I got the Avalon beach blanket bingo going on.
Does anybody have one of those moments in their comic reading?
Fantastic Four #2.
With the scrolls?
Because I was rewriting for a paper, I wrote about Fantastic Four, and I reread that, and I looked at it, and I go, what was Stan Lee thinking?
Which part though? But which part though?
The whole, it's just because, they became cows, I mean,
Stan Lee is a great creator. He's not a good writer. He comes up with great characters. He's like, what do I do with this? What? The Hulk can only leap, but he can change in mid-course. How the hell did that happen? I'm gonna swoop down and get Rick Jones out of this convertible, but I can't fly. I'm leaving.
That's right.
Okay,
He does. The art shows him down and then up, and we're like, wait, I can't
My
fly.
first WT moment would have to be when the Hulk became Joe Fixit.
Oh,
Thank you.
Understand that
Thank
at all.
you. How does a big 6'7", 800-pound guy go unnoticed? And I know it's Vegas.
And nobody knows
I
he's the
know it's
Hulk.
Vegas. But still, how does anybody think he's a person?
The Joe Fixit moment really took me out. I had suspension of disbelief, but the fact that he's going around in a full suit and I'm Joe Fixit, I'm like, it says the Incredible Hulk. What?
You know what makes it believable?
Okay.
Why people think that Joe Fixit is not the Hulk? Because Wolverine can put on an eye patch and nobody knows he's Wolverine.
And he's patched.
I never really understood that one because he's
So
so
the
got the hair.
original moment is the Superman glasses moment, because how the hell does a pair of glasses hide the fact that he's Superman compared to Clark
Action
Kent?
Comics 317.
No. What he did?
Glass.
I know what he did. He kissed everybody, and they all forgot he was Superman.
That's nice.
Every time he enters the office, he kisses everyone first. They all forget that he's Superman. And
Now,
he
ladies
can
and
go back
gentlemen,
to-
we have a celebrity in the room, Chad Lambert.
Chad Lambert is the house.
Hey, guys, second noted writer or creator?
That you click.
Author in Cincinnati. So, Chad, I'm going to ask you. Give me one of your first WTF moments in comics when you're like, what the hell are they thinking
when you're
about?
reading some old back issues and that you haven't read for a while, you come across something that's like, what the?
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of
Give it a notches one.
Geez, you gotta give me a minute.
There's so many he can't figure out which one he wants.
Geez, nothing recently.
Old stuff.
Old
Stuff. I'm just amazed, like, stuff from like the late 70s and early 80s, how it just doesn't translate today. Like, it's too...
Out there?
The wordiness.
The wordiness, we just talked about that. Some people.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I was trying to get through, like, not to besmirch anyone, but like, I couldn't read Days of Future Past to save my life. It was just like, why is this so wordy?
Wow.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
But I will tell you this, so
I like Days of Future
after watching Stan Lee, is there any other decade than the 60s that the Silver Surfer could have been created and been successful? Because I can't think of it. Other than the 60s. I can't. I got
What about
nothing.
the guy on the skis over in DC? Come on,
Guy on skis.
New
Not
guy.
skis.
The black racer, whatever his name is.
Black Racer.
Black Racer.
Yeah. The embodiment.
New guy. Oh, I'm sorry. That
Well,
guy.
hold on. The Silver Surfer did have Volume 3 that came out in the 80s was actually a really
No,
good. Really
I meant starting off. I'm not talking about
Oh,
continuity.
okay, starting off.
Could you
maybe
create
not.
that
I mean-
character today and make it successful?
Hell no.
Okay, maybe it was just coming off of the success, because I did love Volume 3, and it did go on
The
for a
new
very
run?
long time.
Yeah, but
Up to
you
issue
couldn't make him
92.
now.
Yeah.
What's that?
Up to issue 92 is really good. Then after 92, pow.
And guys, you guys
Yeah,
understand
a little
though.
too much over
a
the
tip I don't want
universe
you guys to get
on
embarrassed about is You know, the name for the character, I'm just throwing this out there, is Thanos. It doesn't rhyme with anus. Okay? That mistake's been made a lot. I've had people coming to me, Thanos, and I'm like, no, his name doesn't
No,
rhyme
it's
with anus.
Thanos.
The last thing we're going to talk about, though, is something that Frank and I have been talking about a lot, and we're going to kind of condense it because we got to get to
The end.
Comic Celebrity Deathmatch, which is at the end of this thing. The speculation market. Do you think the success of comics on TV and the movies has damaged the collectability and enjoyability of comics, causing them to be overpriced, price gouging, inflation?
I think the movie has maybe made the comics worth more because they think, hey, movies make so much money.
That's what they want to make
comic
the
book.
thing.
But I don't know if it affects the overall quality.
So we're back and back.
I come from an interesting background. I do not collect comics avidly. I have a girlfriend who's in more comics than me, but I have consumed probably...
Marry her.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's unusual.
But we can coexist. Here's the thing, though. I think it's important that these properties are exposed to people like me. I consider myself to be a geek, but I'm not necessarily a comic book geek. But depending on the quality, I mean, Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern.
Oh, well, how can you bring that up? Come
because
on.
we have to set a precedent of what's god awful and what's good. Because I mean,
Anything
the good
around
stuff.
rules?
No, the
You
good,
never said that David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury.
There you go.
Now we're
David Hasselhoff.
half that movie
Yeah.
is halfway decent.
but I'm
Nick
just,
Fury, and it wouldn't have made us quite as much.
I'm just saying.
Now, wait a minute now.
No,
Somebody give him a breathalyzer.
Half
How many minutes of that film was violent?
It's when the major opponent, what do you call it? Protagonist.
Colorax?
Which is protagonist, antagonist.
Yeah.
When your major antagonist is a cloud, then you're going to have a messed up
You
movie.
mean Silver Surfer,
That's the-
Galactus, and
Yes.
Star Trek One.
But
I
now
hated
when you guys not collecting a whole lot, this
When
one
it's-
maybe for you.
One-
Does it make Overstreet kind of like worthless? Because why do we have a guide when, if you're going by the speculation market, the dealers now do trend sites where it's like, it doesn't matter if the book's worth $100.
Here's an example. Nova #1
Yep.
is just rumored to be in an upcoming Guardians movie. And that book has shot from a $15 book to about $120.
Wait. Are we talking Rich Rider or Jason Alexander?
Richard Rider.
Okay, Rich Rider. Okay, I don't like the new Nova.
Nova
still-
#1 with Jason Alexander is worth that. But it's Richard
Sold.
Rider.
Oh, no. No, I don't like the new Nova. I think it just takes away from everything that Rich Rider has done. Because it's like we're just totally forgetting him in place of the new guy. And I just don't like the way they're doing that.
Anyway, circling back, I know I made a terrible
I mean, all of us cringe.
Yes, but still, I'm just saying, it's important because there are people who wouldn't even look twice at comics, but then they go in and see a comic book movie, especially one that's worth a damn. And then they can say, oh, okay, maybe it's going to be as good as it is in comic form as it was in the movies. I mean, of course, there are plenty of comic book movies from now and in the past that are overblown and god-awful. But when it hits, it hits. And when it hits to people, people get curious, like me. I mean, using...
What's the movie that hit with you that you didn't know about that you'd like to...
Actually, I'm the guy who grew up in the 90s, and I watched an absolute assload of Batman the Animated Series.
Which is awesome.
The greatest I think it's the greatest superhero cartoon out there.
I am in agreement. And the fact that they're I heard of The Killing Joke. I went out and bought that hardback, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
you read that piece of
and in
crap?
fact, well, I know.
We love that book.
We love that.
But I was about to say, you can't knock on The Killing Joke, and the fact that they're adapting that to something animated is amazing because.
So are you talking the animated movies? DC
Well,
does great animated movies.
DCAU is great. Now, say what
Animated
you will
movies
about
are
say what you will about the quality of the comics recently, from what I hear, but the DCAU is something that has been hitting more often than not. Because the people who are animating it, the people who are doing the voice acting, they care about the character. They care about
Much
the
better than
development.
Marvel animation. They just get somebody they just meet on the street and say, "Hey, I know you just bought a donut, but can you do the voice of Carol Danvers?"
Okay, but
Exactly.
the
And I think DC should
Marvel
do it,
Web
'cause I
Slingers
know
and the new
that's-
Avengers is pretty good.
But it's important because because comics in general. I mean, some people are like, oh, Batman, or oh, Superman, or something Marvel, or something DC, or something Image, or whatever.
Sorry.
Getting exposed to that is good for the culture. I mean, just period point blank. Because it gets people interested about it. To somebody who wouldn't walk into a comic store in the first place.
Just for the record, we do love DC TV shows. We do love the movies for the majority. We're not
DC
against those.
small screen is so much better than its big screen
I
stuff.
agree.
Yeah.
And Marvel's big screen, I mean,
It's so
Marvel's
much better than their small screen.
Marvel's small screen sucks.
No, the new Avenger cartoon is actually
Well,
really good.
we have to be really, really accommodating to the new fans because we're talking about decades.
Listen
upon
to this little
decades.
peacemaker. We must accept the new fans.
The new fans are there.
And Chad's like, kill the new fans, zombie
The
apocalypse.
new fans,
now!
they don't know what good is.
Now! Zombie
Okay,
apocalypse.
the old guard. I'm saying
Spirit
this
of
as being
discussion,
somewhat of a Bridget. People like me kind of want to look into this and say, oh, we should really be accommodating, but we shouldn't cater to them.
Well-
but at the same time, we should really be thinking about how we treat each other as a culture. Because I mean, it's somebody who walks into a comic store.
Jesus
He said
Christ.
culture.
Hey.
You're getting too heavy for Rick.
Now listen,
But
with
that
all-
kind of thinking gives us Batman versus Superman. Come
With
on.
all due respect,
Screw that
Don't get
movie.
started there.
with all due respect to John Lennon's Let's Give Peace a Chance,
Yes.
we have to cut
There
this
was a
off.
couple of good episodes.
Yeah, we'll have to call it. We have to call it.
We gotta call it
to-
because we got time coming up here. We got another
yeah.
panel coming in, so we're gonna do our last thing.
It's called Comic Celebrity Deathmatch.
It was Norman Art Piece for our Raynman Power Hour, which we're gonna do now and finish it up.
And Frank and I are going to argue a topic briefly. He's going to give his pros and cons. I'll give my pros and cons. You guys get to decide who won the argument.
Right.
And
I
the
thought you
argument
said
is
Best
which
movie.
movie was better, the new remake of the Fantastic Four or Deadpool. He will be defending Deadpool, of course.
Good job.
I will defend the new Fantastic Four
Curse you.
remake. Go. Why is Deadpool better than Fantastic Four?
Deadpool, even though it's not the first R-rated hero movie, it has been by far the most successful. Not being part of the Marvel tree, you understand what I'm saying, like the Avengers and stuff. What do you not like about the fact that they finally got a character right? All I can say is the box office proceeds, the critical review, and the fan loved him for Deadpool, even if you don't like the character, is there.
Hey,
That's all I have to do is say that. That's my defense of it.
Frank saw the movie 3 times. Each time he saw it, he called me. Here are his comments. First time, Bill, I think I saw Ryan Reynolds jump.
Oh my God, I did say that. I did say that.
Second time Frank called me, he said, Bill, I'm sure I saw Ryan Reynolds
I
jump.
did say that too.
Third time he called me, he says, I can't believe I saw Ryan Reynolds jump.
I said I can't believe I watched it the third time with his junk in it.
Top 5 reasons people like Deadpool. Colossus pukes. Ryan Reynolds makes fun of Green Lantern. Excuse me, but there's an anal sex scene. You can see Ryan Reynolds' junk. And there's nudity in Stan's cameo. If you add all that together...
I do like that scene.
Wait,
That is
you
the
forgot
best.
one. You forgot one. National Women's Liberation
That was the best
Day.
part of the whole
That was
movie.
also very prominent in the movie.
Add all that together comes to a total time of 7 minutes. I was able to watch 44 minutes of Fantastic Four before I walked out. Therefore, Fantastic Four was a better movie. Plus, Michael B. Jordan was great in Creed. The girl that played Sue Storm was great in Martian.
What does that have to do with anything?
Exactly my point.
Ryan Reynolds didn't
Exactly
do
my
anything.
The only way you can defend that movie is say that these actors
Thank you.
were great in something
Thank you,
else.
The
everybody.
girl that played
Thank you.
Reed Richards was great in that movie about the jazz drummer. I can't remember the name of it.
Look,
Thank
the
you for
only way
defending
you
me.
can defend
Thank
the
you.
movie
Thank
is
you.
say that these actors were great in other stuff.
But-
You can't defend the movie by saying that they were great in those movies.
All right,
They
all right,
weren't
all right.
great in that movie.
You know what? No need to explain the outcome. Thank you very much. I've won.
No, show of hands. Who thinks Frank won the argument?
Thank you. Thank you.
That's easy.
Matt, I swear to get off Bill Gladman.
Who thinks Bill won the argument?
I think Bill won.
You were fighting a losing battle, man.
On that note,
Look, all he had to do was say, I like Deadpool, and nothing you could have said about the Fantastic Four movie would have beaten that.
On that note-
Honestly, yep, you were just from ground
But
zero
Michael
with
B.
no
Jordan
place
was
up to
great
go.
in Creed.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for attending. I want to put out something real quick before everyone starts leaving. If you can come to our Fanboy Feud,
Which is the next panel here.
Matt Smith, aka the Doctor, who's been a staple with Gem City and Champion City over the years. This is his last
rodeo
in Ohio because
He's gonna be
moving
here?
to Virginia.
He's going to be the host.
We have been very fortunate to have Matt in our, well, I could just say our lives. I don't make it sound like we're related.
Well,
But
that makes me feel like
in
shit
our
that he's my
lives,
first favorite
and
doctor.
he's contributed a lot to both the Comic Con and the comic culture around our neighborhood. So if you can watch it, please. It'll be fun. Mark Wade is a celebrity guest.
Tony Isabella is going against Mark Wade, the creator of Black Fighting. Yes, I pulled one off.
Tony Isabella versus Mark Wade.
If anybody's interested, I made up a list of some comic book runs by some great creators that I really suggest the top 25. You got to get every
And they're
issue
cheap,
of
and they're
this
cheap.
run. If you want that list, please take